vehemently worked for these assembly elections. And on the left is Dr. Yash Bhardwaj, our Haryana president. मीडिया से आए हुए सभी दोस्तों का स्वागत है। और दिस इज एन एक्सटेंशन जो पुरानी हमारी प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस हुई थी उसी का एक ये पार्ट 2 है जो डॉक्टर स्वामी आपको एड्रेस करने वाले हैं। तो बहुत अधिक समय ना लेते हुए मैं अब डॉक्टर स्वामी से रिक्वेस्ट करूँगा कि आप उसको मोटिवेट करें।
First, I'll speak in English, and if there are any questions, I'll answer in Hindi or Tamil if there are any ones. As you know, last time I spoke about the Enforcement Directorate being able to discover 21 bank accounts of Mr. Karti Chidambaram which were illegal because they were not disclosed. And Mr. Karti Chidambaram wouldn't have done all this without the support of his father, Mr. P Chidambaram, who has been finance minister and home minister during the last UPA government. This time I find that along with the Enforcement Directorate, the documents collected in the raids carried out by the Enforcement Directorate, the income tax did a study of the documents from the income tax point of view and made a 200-page report for prosecution and sent it 6 months ago. To the Revenue Secretary, Mr. Shaktikanta, for permission to take further action. So the last 6 months, no action has been taken. Understandably, because Mr. Shaktikanta owes his primary loyalty to Mr. Chidambaram, and I have been saying this publicly for some time. And therefore, the honest officers of the Ministry of Finance, frustrated, they indicated to me, and then through a number of ways, including the RTI, I was able to collect together and put together the main allegations against Mr. Chidambaram. The first and foremost is that Mr. Chidambaram has acquired properties abroad. He has not disclosed his purchase in the affidavit he recently filed as Rajya Sabha member from the state of Maharashtra. In that, being a lawyer and to have an excuse, he has mentioned the property and made out as if his wife has financed it by putting in that 1/3 of the share of the value of that property was paid for by his wife, and he didn't disclose from where she got the money to pay in pounds in UK. So I have in this thing pointed out that in 2008, in paragraph 1, in 2008, Mr. Chidambaram, Miss Nalini Chidambaram, that is his wife, son Karthi Chidambaram, and wife of Karthi Chidambaram called Srinidhi Chidambaram, all four jointly purchased the property and paid the money out of the bank account which I disclosed last time, the Metro Bank in London, which is in the name of Karthi Chidambaram. And this, the property is, the address is given is 5 Holben Close, Cambridge, UK, and this is a confirmed address because Mr. Chidambaram has declared it in his affidavit as a MP, but has not disclosed that he, his son, and all are also shareholders in the payment for the purchase of that property. He's only put his wife's name and try to create a cover for him in case somebody casually looks at it instead of deeply as I have done. Then the second thing is that since Mr. Chidambaram has not declared any foreign accounts in his affidavit, therefore this will mean that he has assets disproportionate to his known sources of income, and that too undeclared abroad. So both foreign PMLA offences created and also Prevention of Corruption Act, for which recently Ms. Jayalalitha and Ms. Shaktikanta had to face conviction. The same way, Mr. Chidambaram is also guilty of violation of the Prevention of Corruption Act, section 13, bracket 1, bracket E, and that carries a punishment of 7 years. And he is also guilty of violation of the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. So this is the first thing. The second thing is, with the help of his father, Mr. Karthi Chidambaram, has been able to use his Advantage Strategic Consulting Private Limited for a number of operations. For instance, take paragraph 8. He has in the Aircel Maxis received 26 lakhs from Aircel as a first installment for Mr. Chidambaram approving the FIPB clearance, which is illegal, which is now before the Supreme Court, and the next hearing will be in the first week of April. Similarly, the Enforcement Directorate and the Income Tax Joint Raid found $200,000 had also been received from the Maxis Group in another company of this called Chess Management Companies. So this is also been found in the documents. After that, the IT and the Enforcement Directorate have discovered large monies flowing into the company, a wholly owned subsidiary of the Advantage Strategic Company of Mr. Chidambaram in Singapore, that is Mr. Karthi Chidambaram in Singapore, and has been used to buy huge properties in 14 different countries. It would have been too bulky for me to put all that because the income tax report is about 200 pages. So in 14 countries, even race horses have been purchased by Mr. Karthi Chidambaram. I don't know what he is doing that for. Then you come to paragraph 12. In every company that Mr. Chidambaram's son has set up, 5 people are common directors, benamis. One is CBI Reddy, Bhaskar Raman, Mohan, Rajesh, Ravi Viswanathan, and V. Padma. And all of them have written a will that in the event of our death or relinquishment, all this property that we have will be, because of our great respect for Mr. P Chidambaram, transferred to Mr. P Chidambaram. And therefore they are nothing but benamis of Karthi and Father Chidambaram. Then the income tax also found hard disks in the computers of Mr. Karthi Chidambaram, and that's in paragraph 14, and found that every FIPB, Foreign Investment Promotion Board, approval given by Mr. Chidambaram, he got a cut, and there are records for that. And when the previous NewsX management was there, now it's a new management. So they also, the INX media of that received, from that Chidambaram's, Karthi Chidambaram's company received a thing for an FIPB clearance of $220 million, which it had got. And the same day, North Star Software Solution also paid, that's also in paragraph 16. And paragraph 17 gives you another payment. Like this, there are all illegal payments being made, and all these happened when Mr. Chidambaram was finance minister. Now, The companies which transferred on paragraph 21, I've given you the companies which have transferred money because of this FIPP clearance to Mr. Karti Chidambaram's company, and there are diverse companies in that. As per income tax analysis report, all these deals involve around rupees 500 crores in kickbacks to Karti-linked companies for necessary FIPP and Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs clearances of Mr. Chidambaram. The documents also show the best land reality when the company got 304 crores of loan from PSU banks. So this is another Chidambaram finance minister, banks get loans and Chidambaram's son gets a commission. This is the third major set of corruption. The fourth one is the grease money for appointments. Mr. Karti Chidambaram was paid for fixing appointments of important people like the Diageo, Scotland Limited, and Vijay Mallya, and so on, for fixing appointments with Mr. Chidambaram and Mr. Manmohan Singh. So this is further proved by the emails which have been intercepted from the hard disk of Mr. Karti Chidambaram's computer, which shows thanking these various companies, thanking Mr. Karti Chidambaram for arranging it, and a closing payout receipts as attachment in those emails. So this again becomes another case of corruption under the Prevention of Corruption Act. There is another clear case of favoritism to his son's company by Mr. Chidambaram, and that is the abusing of power, of this political power as finance minister. Mr. Chidambaram made it possible for Russia's National Industrial Bank, Gazprom, which appointed Karti Chidambaram as a business consultant for that Russian company joint venture with Indian Overseas Bank. So, Indian Overseas Bank cannot have this joint venture unless the finance ministry clears it. Finance minister clears it on the condition that they pay Karti Chidambaram money. And this, therefore, the documents seized by income tax show this, that the series of communication with the Indian Overseas Bank meetings in Chennai. Similarly, the Russian agreement states that Karti's Advantage Strategic Consulting Private Limited ASCPL Singapore subsidiary was provided for 5% as commission for all transactions of the Indian Overseas Bank, which is the public sector bank, apart from the initial $25,000 as processing fee. This is clear case of abuse by the finance minister. Documents also show large sums of money as commission from Alliance Securities for sale of NABARD bonds, and Chidambaram was finance minister. It's amazing. And again, now we find Mr. Chidambaram buying a lot of land in Karnataka. For some reason, he has more faith in Karnataka than Tamil Nadu. So he has purchased a large amount of land in Coorg, in Bangalore, in Kolar, in a number of areas. I think Chidambaram qualifies to become a resident of Karnataka state. And about 15% of Bangalore land, in my opinion, is now directly or indirectly owned by Chidambaram. The land which was then mortgaged to Union Bank of India, Mr. Chidambaram was shown as an unsecured creditor to Meltrack Limited, a private limited company. Now, how can Mr. Chidambaram, as finance minister, be as an unsecured creditor? What do you mean by unsecured? That means you gave it without mortgage. That is really surprising. We also find that the cricket was involved in this. Karti's Advantage Strategic Consulting Private Limited received substantial money from a South African company, Nicholas Steins. So this South African company was engaged in providing security to the IPL cricket matches, and the money transaction with Mr. Karti's company happened when his father was Home Minister. So even in Home Ministry, it is very difficult to make money in. Mr. Chidambaram found a way. That big a thief he is. IT analysis also estimates more than 10,000 crores worth of properties, including farmhouses, hotels, tennis academies, vineyard, stud farms in 14 different countries. I think he could easily compete with Natwarlal, if you ask me. So, what is the outset of this? The Enforcement Directorate sent Karti Chidambaram 3 summons. The CBI has interrogated Mr. Chidambaram, P Chidambaram, in end of 2014, but has not proceeded further in the Aircel Maxis scam. So I feel that the letter is addressed to the Prime Minister. He must now intervene and see that the Finance Ministry, Chidambaram friendly officers are not able to delay this any further. These are open shut cases. Mr. Chidambaram, in my opinion, should be immediately arrested along with his son. And if they feel lonely, even the wife and the daughter-in-law can be also arrested and put together in a common jail. They have looted this country much more any single family than any, except of course the #1 family in Congress, namely Sonia Gandhi and others. So this is another example of where in fighting corruption we are running into problems with the civil servants owing allegiance to the previous government, the UPA government, blocking our thing and giving us a bad name that we are not proceeding speedily to corruption. And that is why I made this exposure. And I am hoping that the Prime Minister will order an immediate inquiry into this and remove the officers from the Finance Ministry who owe allegiance to the Congress party and who are helping the Congress party to escape prosecution. This is my initial submission. If you have any questions, I'll be happy.